turned over to the clients. That is what we want to talk about. We have with us in studio Chairman of the Disciplinary Committee of the General Legal Council. He's no stranger to Jamaicans, King's Counsel Peter Champagne. And of course, we also have another attorney at law with us, Javed Grant. Gentlemen, top of the evening to you. Welcome to Lead Story Prime.
Good evening, Tyrone, and good evening to your viewers and listeners.
Indeed. We have a clip lined up for you. CVM's Natasha Williams spoke with John Clark, the attorney who represented a client in a matter against the government, a matter that went to the Privy Council. Privy Council ruled that the matter ought to return to the Court of Appeal. He was awarded millions of dollars, that's $79 million plus interest. And of course, that client was explaining to a reporter that he hasn't received any money just this week, and he hasn't even heard whether or not his lawyers have received the money. It turns out the money was paid over by the government according to CVM's investigations on May 15. A conversation was had with the attorney, and this is what transpired during that conversation, which we want to use to set up the conversation we're going to be having here. Let's have a listen.
Based on our information, we are aware that you have the money.
Based on your information, I have the money?
Yes, sir.
Well, I've not seen, whatever information you have, that may or may not be correct, but as I'm speaking to you, I have not seen that money. That, how should I say this? I'm sorry, hello?
I'm right here, sir.
Yes. So your information is that I have been paid the money?
Yes, on May 15th, the money has been paid to his lawyers by the government.
On May 15th?
Yes, sir.
Well,
Are you still there?
I'm still here, but
So, can you just declare whether or not that's so, based on our information?
Sorry, hello?
Yes, Mr. Clark, I'm hearing you, sir. Can you just confirm whether or not that information is so? I'm seeing here where the payout was made.
You're seeing where the payout was made, but I'd have to, that's what I'm saying, I would have to go, I can't confirm or deny that, but what you're saying, from May 15 and we're now at June 9th, so I'd have to go into my bank and confirm that. But what I was advised, that wouldn't accord with what I was advised. I'd have to verify that. You said that, and the information that you have would have also demonstrated which account that money was paid to?
So you're saying that you haven't seen it in your account? Yeah.
No. That was asking for, I would have demonstrated which account was paid to, because what I was told was that we needed to work out something with the... sorry, hello?
Yes, I'm here, sir.
I'd love to see that information, because that's not what information that I currently have at my fingertips.
So what kind of information you have at your fingertip?
Sorry, hello?
What kind of, are you willing to share that information that you have at your fingertip? Because I'm sharing what I have with you now.
You said that the information you have said that I've been paid from May 15th, you said?
You were saying you don't have that information at your fingertip, so I'm asking if you're willing to share what you have based on our information here. Mr. Clark?
I'm hearing you, but I'm saying I'd have to go into my bank and clarify what you're saying, because I don't have that information. I'm not seeing that in my account, but I'm not seeing it in my account.
So how can an amount of 79 million reaches to your account and you're not aware?
Alright, sorry, hello?
Yes, sir, I'm hearing you.
I'm saying you're doing your work, and I just have to give you some time to verify something, because what I
No, I'm just asking you if that amount of money could reach your account. How could you not be aware of it? And it's there now for almost a month.
It would reach my client's account, one. Secondly, two, that wouldn't be something that would have been on my...
Can you repeat that, please?
No, I'm saying that I'd have to go into the bank tomorrow to verify that, one. Two, I have online banking. Three, hello?
Yes, I'm hearing you, sir.
Three, I would have to...
So you want me to wait on you and ask for you to verify it now with your online banking?
No, I'm saying I have online bank, but that doesn't go with my client's account. Okay. So I'd have to go in and verify that. That's one. But in any event, the issue I was saying I spoke with Mr. Maga, I to verify is that there is some. Sorry, hello.
Yes, sir. I'm hearing you.
There is even if that is the case, but June. It's a May 15th. You said.
Yes, sir. May 15th.
Okay, so I returned to the island on the return office on June 1st, so that would have been 9 days ago. But the information that I had, what we were tracing on, was the agent promised us that it would have been processed. And two, what we were tracing was that we were supposed to receive some money because he would have owed some lawyers some money in relation to something that occurred at the Privy Council. So we were trying to trace that with the DPP because I didn't want that money to be taken from what the AG would have paid him. So I just need to confirm that the AG money would have hit the accounts, the client's account, and then if that is the case, we'd have to go in because of the volume and then have that processed and released. But what I was speaking about, I said I needed to have it sorted out for Friday, would be to see exactly where we are with the fund that is being paid by the DPP and if both of them can and how where, because I expected that both of them could come together to ensure that he doesn't have to pay the lawyers out of the judgment because the DPP money would cover that.
Okay, I understand. And in best practice, how soon after receiving that money are you normally expected to pay your clients?
Sorry, hello?
Yes, I'm hearing you. You can go ahead.
In best practice, I would say within a shorter period as possible, but in any event, hello?
Yes, I'm hearing you, sir.
Within a shortest period as possible, definitely within a period of longer, a shorter period than a month.
Based on our information, we are aware that you have the money.
Based on your information, I have.
That interview there with attorney at law John Clark. He's being interviewed by CVM's Natasha Williams. We are up on the break, but when we come back, we want to talk about what should happen to the money granted to clients after he's sent to their attorneys. How long is too long? Soon come.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yes.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
Welcome back. This is Lead Story Prime. I'm Tyrone Reed. We have in studio with us the chairman of the disciplinary committee of the General Legal Counsel, that's King's Counsel Peter Champagny, and attorney at law Javed Grant. And we're talking about King's Counsel. How long is too long? What should happen in the matter where judgment has been delivered, the court has awarded, attorneys receive those sums? What should happen? What's the textbook thing that should happen?
Well, Tyrone, first of all, let me just add this caveat. As the chairman of the disciplinary committee of the General Legal Counsel, I will refrain from commenting on the introductory story to this presentation.
Understandable.
For obvious reasons.
Understandable.
So I will speak in general terms. Within the most reasonable time, that is the benchmark, and there are strict guidelines in terms of that. In terms of accounting rules, statements of accounts, it starts from the principal legislation in terms of the Legal Profession Act to the canons of the profession. And as soon as you come into receipt of it, in terms of client funds, you are obliged to turn over those funds, of course, with a statement of account indicating certain things. There may be, in some instances, some exceptional circumstances why there may be some delay, but the general rule of thumb is as soon as is possible.
So there is no time frame to as soon as possible?
No, but within a reasonable time, and we all understand what reasonable time is. And you would have to judge it based on the particular circumstances of each particular case. It would depend on whether or not it's a straight transaction, whether it's coming from overseas. All of those variables would be important. But I don't want to shy away from the position and say, well, you can wait indefinitely or months or so. No, not at all. And the rules, as I said before, Tyrone, are very, very strict and very stringent in relation to accounting rules and regulations.
And even before the money reaches the account of the client in this matter, or any matter, since we're not dealing with this matter specifically, yes. for any matter at King's Counsel, once the attorney is in receipt, that attorney is obliged to inform the client.
Absolutely. Communication is key. In fact, Tyrone and your viewers and listeners, failure to communicate within a timely manner insofar as your clients are concerned, that in and of itself is also a breach. So, as I said before, I can't say it over and over too much. There are very strict rules and regulations dealing with that.
And let me see if I can bring you into the conversation. You're an attorney at law. If you can tell, how long have you been practicing, and how do you seek to navigate the business end of the legal profession?
Thank you. I've been practicing for approximately 5 years now. As you stated earlier, law, or the business of law, does require not just the practice of law and rules of evidence, but actual proper management of client funds and other aspects of business. In relation to management, as Learned King's Counsel touched on, there are strict guidelines that attorneys must follow. And outside of there being an absence of an actual day time limit, or to say that by 7 days or 14 days, attorneys are expected to act with due expedition in the execution of their duties generally, and certainly as it relates to management of client funds. Importantly enough, and King's Counsel touched on it just now, communication. Communication is absolutely key. It is of utmost importance that clients know what is happening in their matters. Clients know when monies are in your account, client account that is, and clients also know what is the intention once the monies have been forwarded to your account. Certainly as well, there's no set time to say that, okay, if I have it today, I have to get it to you today. But certainly there has to be some indication. And even in touching on a topic you said earlier in relation to even before the money reaches to your account, certainly it's case by case. But you can even do a checklist or a statement of account even before. So as soon as the money gets to your account, you know what the next step is, the client knows what the next step is.
In your own practice, Javed Grant, how soon after, what is the benchmark that you see yourself working with? How soon after you receive funds for clients do you ensure it's turned over?
My benchmark is always within, I want to say, 3 to 5 business days. Ideally, it would be the next day, but as you're aware, you also have to get certain authorization and permission from client to say, hey, we are now in receipt of this money. Please confirm with your instructions in writing where this money is supposed to go. Proper authorized letter, proper authorized instructions, so there's no uncertainty or lack of clarity as to where the money is supposed to go. Oftentimes you'll find yourself where a client will say, hey, that account that you've sent to me before, I don't want it there, I want it elsewhere. And certainly it is our duties as attorney to ensure that we have proper instructions so we know how to act.
King's Counsel, generally speaking, because we're not talking about this specific case, because I understand your position as the chairman of the disciplinary committee of the GLC. But when, in this instance, the money is coming from the government, is there a letter, some kind of missive, a memo that says the money has been transferred to you, or they just transfer the money blindly?
Tyrone, you're being provocative. You say you don't want to speak about this case, but you say in this particular instance...
No, generally speaking, when the government is paying.
Let me just say this. In any case, whether it's government or a private entity, the information should be there, and it should be shared as soon as it is received by the attorney. It doesn't matter whether it's government entity or private entity. That really doesn't factor in terms of your obligation. So I would want to say it's a distinction without a difference in one sense. And I go back to the point that there could be reasonable explanations as to why there is a delay. But even if there is a delay, it should not be a case where the client is left in the dark and, is seeking information from other sources other than his or her client.
Hey, and I'm not trying to belabor the point, and I'm not trying to put you in a position, King's Counsel. What I'm asking is, whenever money, sums are paid over to attorneys, is there an indication from the payor that these funds have been transferred to you?
Yes.
In writing?
Yes, you get it. Certainly when I'm doing transactions with persons who are, for instance, agents of the state, and I'm representing, say, for example, police officers, you're sent notification by email. We are in modern times. So there cannot be any unreasonable or explanation that is given that, really defies common sense. So yes, the answer to that is yes.
I want to come back to you on this, but let me bring Javid Grant back into the conversation. Counsel, are you concerned? You seem like a relatively young attorney at law. I mean,
me or
no, man, not at all. But Javid Grant. But are you concerned any at all about the profession being brought into disrepute by the actions of attorneys? Are you concerned about that?
Well, firstly, let me state that in answering your question, this isn't in relation to the clip that was shared at all. But generally speaking, I believe the safeguards that are put in place, the body which governs attorneys, and not just because King's Counsel is sitting to my left while I say this, but I believe that the body which governs attorneys, which is the General Legal Counsel, and the disciplinary committee in particular, they have placed themselves in a position to constantly educate attorneys. Attorneys are also required to participate in continuing legal education courses. So there's a mandate, a yearly mandate for attorneys to refresh themselves of the standards and practices that are expected of attorneys. It's not a hint, it's not a suggestion, it is a requirement. And if attorneys don't adhere to those requirements, then they will not be able to practice. That being said, no system is infallible. But notwithstanding the infallible nature, which may be absent, I wouldn't say that the profession on a whole is being brought down. Certainly not by minor actors or minor actions.
I wanted to quickly add something, Tyrone, and I think it's important, especially on a platform such as this, to inform the public that there is an obligation upon John Public as well, because we live in a modern environment. And I would encourage prospective clients, once they are seeking to solicit the services of an attorney, they can go on the General Counsel website. You can see the names and the listings of attorneys that that are in possession of practicing certificates. You can see also the infractions in terms of past misconduct in relation to attorneys, and then you're able to make an informed judgment. So it is nothing that is in secret. So it behoves all of us to, as prospective clients, to ensure that we do our due diligence. And whenever attorneys are found wanting in terms of unprofessional conduct, we are obliged, especially in relation to striking off or suspension, to make it known publicly.
We've had conversations elsewhere, King's Counsel, about the General Legal Counsel and the work it is doing to keep the profession honest, as it were, and to keep attorneys operating at a certain standard. Are there any changes that you think need to be made to legislation, to the rules governing the GLC that would help the council and what it tries to do?
The answer to that is yes. For instance, I am warm into the idea of conveyancing matters being cashless. I don't see the reason why it can't be a bank-to-bank transfer and the attorney's fee is the attorney's fee. I don't see the basis for attorneys holding such large amounts of money. And in fact, in other jurisdictions, that obtains. So that's one. Two, we need to examine circumstances where they are, shall I say, repeat offenders. And that came up recently in terms of a discussion. And I think that the day may soon come when we have to look at that as, in and of itself, something to be looked at in terms of legislative changes. So those are just two examples that readily come to mind.
We have to leave it there. We are out of time, but we want to thank King's Counsel Peter Champagny. He's the chairman of the disciplinary committee at the General Legal Counsel, and of course, as he should, he has said his comments here this evening are not in relation to the specific case that has spawned this conversation. And we are at CVM are also not drawing any conclusions, but we thought it fit that this is a conversation that needed to take place. We also want to thank attorney at law Javed Grant, who represented himself so well here. Thank you, gentlemen, for being on Lead Story Prime. This is Lead Story Prime. I'm Tyrone. We will take the break right here and come back with more.
This week on Farming Forward, we're coming to you from, whoa, look at that, we're coming to you from Riverdale in St. Catherine, and we'll be talking to that young entrepreneur you just saw. He was picking breadfruits, but I can tell you about the chickens that he's been caring for all these years. He'll be talking to us about real yard chickens. Farming Forward. We're brought to you by Nutrimix. Tell me, Nutrimix? The big feed. The big feed.
Every dream conquered is another dream game. I land and I fly again like a jet plane. Headed straight in your direction. 'Cause I'm wiser, one step closer. I'm winning 'cause I work so hard. And the music keeps on playing, and the people that I say we are mash up the night. Oh, what a feeling! Don't stop dreaming. Keep on believing in the power of the feeling. Whatever you want, take a chance. Song in your heart, step in your dance. You got a spark, don't fit it down. Shine your lights on.
Welcome back. This is Lead Story Prime. I'm Tyrone Reed. With me in studio is Director of Tourism at the Jamaica Tourist Board, Donovan White. And joining us online shortly will be President of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, Chris Jarrett, as well as the President of the Alliance of Craft Traders and Producers Association, that's Devon Mitchell. And what we want to talk about in this segment, viewers, is the dollar retention in the tourism sector, the value, how much of what is spent in the tourism sector is actually retained. The opposition spokesperson on tourism addressed this matter recently in Parliament. Let's have a watch.
Madam Speaker, the Minister speaks eloquently about the tourism linkages network, yet under his watch, international financial benchmarks reveal a scandalous reality. Yet under his watch, linkage has become a euphemism for massive economic leakage. For every single dollar spent in an all-inclusive tourist, in an all-inclusive hotel in Jamaica, up to 70 cents leaks straight back out of our economy to the overseas travel agents, foreign-owned mega airlines, and international supply chains. Every single dollar earned in this sector leaves Jamaica immediately. It does not circulate. It does not multiply. It takes an immediate U-turn back across our borders.
The voice there of Andrea Perky. She's the opposition spokesperson on tourism. Of course, she's a member of Parliament. Director White, is that accurate, those numbers that are shared there? Is the situation that bad?
Let me, good evening to your viewers. Let me start by saying I'd rather address the question without the political influence, if you will, because the facts are hard to escape. The assessments that we have numbers for suggest that the retention of tourism dollars is about 40 cents in the dollar. That's not good as far as we're concerned. But let's just put it into context, because the retention of tourism dollar across the region ranges from as low as 10 cents in the dollar to as high as 50 cents in the dollar, right across the region. The challenge is not so much about the leakage that happens. The question is why, one, and the other question is, what is the solution? So the why has to do with the fact that our supply chain operations in Jamaica and across the region is not sustainable or is not able to sustain the level of demand that tourism creates across the region, and certainly in Jamaica. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that the level of goods and services that is required to provide for 4.3 million tourists arriving in your country is not available currently. And so you find that the operators within the industry, and particularly now we're talking about the hotel space, because that's the largest provider of service or provider of demand services in the tourism industry, requires huge quantities of goods and services on a daily basis to ensure that the guests that come into the country can have the services that they require.
And you said about 4.3
4.3 million includes cruise. So if you take cruise out, it's roughly about 3 million, 2.9, 2.8
So 4.3 million visitors, and that's our numbers for last year.
For last year and the year before.
All right. So what about those? So you're making a capacity argument.
It is a capacity argument. It is absolutely a capacity
argument. What about those who may argue that the TEF, the Tourism Enhancement Fund, how about having the TEF invest in building out the capacity locally?
It is that's not sustainable. And why do I say that? The capacity build out that we're talking about requires huge and patient capital investment in our supply side of operations. And this is not just for tourism, this is for the country. And if you think about what we're talking about building manufacturing entities that can supply textiles, sheets, pillowcases, pillows, manufacturers of furniture, manufacturers of other goods and services that are consumed in the sector. But also, we're talking about agriculture being able to sustain the kind of processing that is required for fruits, for vegetables, for hard produce, for all the products that are supplied out of these fruits and vegetables, like the nectars, the jams, the jellies, all those things that go into. I like to use this example, Tyrone. You and I probably have 3 or 4 eggs a week on a good week. On a good week.
I'm saying no.
You're saying you have less.
I don't eat eggs, but
exactly.
Go on. Let's say the point.
I don't have more than 3.
Let's say the point.
A tourist may consume as much as 10 eggs in a day. Why?
While on vacation.
Because the eggs is in everything. They have it for breakfast. It's in the juice. It's in the mac and cheese. It's in the pasta. It's in all the things that they consume, because tourism is a consumption-driven business.
I hear you on not being able to. It requires huge investment. That was your word. Not necessarily a number.
Huge and patient.
And you haven't given me a number. I want to come back to you for a number, but we're being joined by President of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, Chris Jarrett, as well as President of the Craft Vendors Association. Top of the afternoon to both of you, gentlemen. Welcome to Lead Story Prime.
Good evening. Good evening. Thanks for.
All right, let me start with you, Chris Jarrett. You heard there from Donovan White. He's saying 40 cents on the dollar is what is being retained currently from what is being spent in the tourism sector. He's saying it's not good enough. Your take on that?
Well, much to the point that he was making, the leakage that we see in Jamaica is driven by the structural factors, not the hotel space or hotel ownership. The biggest drains are things like fuel, imported food items that we can grow here at the scale as you heard Director speak to just now, and the capital equipment. And that's not unique to Jamaica. You know, it's true across the Caribbean. And so you can't blame the hotels for buying say a fridge or aircraft fuel or whatever when there's no local alternative. You know, the solution I think is as Director just spoke to, long-term investment in local capacity and not not scapegoating the sector that brings in the foreign exchange to begin with.
Devon Mitchell, President of the Alliance Craft Traders and Producers Association. What is your take on this? How do you think we can improve the dollar retention in the tourism sector?
I think the first thing that any government have to do is to make sure that they invest in their people. That's the first thing. If you really want to grow the dollar, you have to first invest in your people. And I don't think within myself at this part, especially small people that involved within the tourism industry, they're not getting whatsoever they deserve to get from the industry. So when you have a government that really want to grow the economy, the first thing that you have to do, you have to invest in your people. You have to grow your people, the small people. And I think that will help to create the level of transformation that we are searching for within the industry.
I put it to the tourism director just now, gentlemen, that what about the TF investing in building out capacity? JHTA boss, do you think the TF is doing enough of that?
I think that we need to look in other places. I think if you look at the payroll impact, for instance, as a direct and substantial part of the equation, the wages and salaries and statutory payments to Jamaican workers and who represent the large portion of the hotel operating costs. And add to that taxes, licensing, utility payments, and so on. Then you're looking at a significant share of the revenue circulating domestically before even the imported items are bought. So I think that's an important part. I don't think we need to be focusing on the short term, as in this bailout. I think we need to look at a long-term sight of trying to conclude how it is that we're going to address this issue.
Devil Mitchell, I have about 30 seconds before we have to go to this next break. But do you believe the TF can be used to build out the capacity that's required even more?
As I said before, I said there's a lot of money there. There's a fund there in order to assist or to help to create that transformation, to grow the economy of the country. And as I said before, there is absolutely no way you're going to ignore the people that involve within the industry. And at the same time, you're going to sit down and expect to get good result. Yes, the TEF is there, right? And some of the time when what they do with the TEF fund, right? I think within myself that they invest it the way as how they're supposed to invest it, especially within the tourism industry and the people that involved within the industry. And speaking more so specifically, for the craft people.
So the grassroots people, the people indigenous to the product, you are saying you don't believe, and I want you to think about this because I want you to hold a response because when we come back from the break, we want to take it. Do you believe those grassroots people like yourself, the craft vendors, they are still being ignored and neglected? I want you to think about it. We're going to take the response when we come back from this break. This is Lead Story Prime. We'll be right back after these.
Tune in to Lead Story, weekdays at 6 p.m. Hosted by Jody Ann Quarry.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yes.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
Internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winford Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Welcome back. This is Lead Story Prime. We're talking to the Director of Tourism at the Jamaica Tourist Board, the JTB. That's Donovan White. He's in studio with me. And President of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, Chris Jarrett, who joins us online, as well as President of the Alliance Craft Traders and Producers Association, Devon Mitchell. Devon Mitchell, before the break, I was putting the question to you. Do you believe enough is being invested via the TF or any other source from the government in the grassroots people that make up the tourism product?
Absolutely no. And as I said before, and I will keep saying the same thing, one of the fundamental problem that we are facing, within the industry, any sensible government, when they want to grow their economy, or they want to grow their country, the first thing that they're going to do is to invest in the grassroots people, right? And the craft of this country, as described as the grassroots people, we are the one that make the industry become viable. When we make our dollar in Jamaica, we keep it here. When the big guys make their money, they ship it overseas and grow their economic in their country. Why, right? So if the government really want to grow the economic in Jamaica, they have to ensure that they invest in their people. They have to take care of their people, which is the grassroots people.
All right, Devon Mitchell, you've made the point, and it's a point that has been made sufficiently over the years, and I'm happy Donovan White is with us. Donovan, why is this still the complaint from the grassroots people in the tourism sector?
Tyrone, let me again take the response from the perspective of trying to help everybody understand how the industry works, because I think there is and continues to be a misunderstanding of our industry work. There is a demand side and there's a supply side. We're talking about maybe the largest consumption industry in the world, where you have demand generators on the accommodation side, on the airline side, on the cruise line side, on the tour operator side. They drive demand into destinations. The challenge we are talking about in terms of retention is how much of that demand is able to be supplied for goods and services to deliver a service that is worthy of having in the industry. And in countries like ours, and small tourism-independent countries like ours, who don't have a sufficiently robust supply capacity system, ends up having to import a lot of the goods and services to deliver that demand for that customer.
Which affects the retention.
Which affects the retention, because you now have to pay for that service outside of the country. So that's the first thing. The second thing is what I started out by saying. You can't ask the TEF, who is on a budget from the government of Jamaica, to build capacity for the operations of the services in the country. For example, TEF is focused on the development of services in the industry and human capital capacity. So things like the Jamaica Center for Tourism Innovation, who have trained over 35,000 workers across the industry in the last 8 years, is what the TEF is focused on. Things like the incubator for students coming out of university and coming up with entrepreneurial ideas. There's an incubator system to help them to develop those ideas into products and services for the tourism industry. Let me finish. Things like enhancing some of our heritage sites and creating more around things for people to do in the destination, so that they go out in the destination and spend more of that very dollar with Devon and his members, is part of what the TEF is all about, which is why things like the Artisan Village was created in Trelawney. Now, having said, and I'm just touching the surface because I know you're pressed for time.
Exactly.
But I think we have to get it that when I talk about patient capital and I talk about
developing the supply side. I'm talking about private sector investment in the supply side, not government.
Let me ask you a simple question, because we want to simplify this conversation. It's a conversation we've had so very often. Whose primary responsibility is it to ensure that the dollar retention value is where it needs to be? Whose job is that?
It is a business, Tyrone. So when you ask whose responsibility it is, the responsibility that the destination has is to create a destination worthy for visitors to visit. It creates an opportunity, therefore, for people in business to generate a business in the industry for a profit. So it is the destination of with its natural benefits and its tourism partners on the demand side create the opportunity to bring people here.
You're not answering my question, Whose job is it to ensure that Jamaica moves from 40 cents on the dollar? Where do we want to get to, first of all? From 40 cents to what would be acceptable to you?
I believe that we should aim for getting to 60 cents on the dollar.
All right, 60 cents. So whose job is that?
I think government must provide the infrastructure and the opportunities for the private sector to seize the opportunity to get into the supply side. To be truthful, that is where, and I'm not talking about necessarily all large businesses, because private sector includes small and medium and micro-sized businesses as well.
So would it be too much to put that as a KPI for the Director of Tourism?
No, I don't think it is.
It's not too much?
Absolutely not.
And you could drive this?
We could drive it if we have the mandate to do it, and B, the infrastructure by which to engage and encourage the private sector to get involved in the supply side of the
All right, let me bring Chris Jarrett back in and Devon Mitchell before we have to close. Chris Jarrett, you heard there from the Director of Tourism, want to get to about 60 cents on the dollar. Is that sufficient, you think, for Jamaica?
Yeah. Well, I just first of all wanted to add that I don't disagree with Mr. Mitchell entirely. That the training programs to build capacity in areas like specialty foods and maintenance and some other issues like this, they are facilitated by PEP. So I'm not in disagreement with that. But I think it's important to note that Jamaica, unlike small island states that import nearly everything, like Cayman and those places, Jamaica has a strong base of local agriculture, manufacturing, construction and services, supplying the hotel sector. So from fresh produce and meat and furniture, linens and maintenance services and such, hotels are under constant pressure. And from government policy to support locally.
Do you see us solving this problem? We have about 3 minutes left, and I need to get Chris Jarrett back in. I just want to ask you, Devon Mitchell back in. Chris Jarrett, do you see us solving this problem? It's a long-standing issue. And perhaps a part of the problem is, whose job is it to ensure that it happens? Chris Jarrett, that's what you...
I thought that was...
No, I'll bring in Devon Mitchell afterwards. Whose job is it? It's apparently one of the issues. So, do you think we'll get there?
I think if we facilitate through government policy, I was starting to say the source more local. I think that's a good direction to start in. The GHA, for instance, has always pushed for this through partnerships with JBDC and Ministry of Agriculture, and so if we can redirect the focus to source local first, with perhaps incentives to encourage that in the larger players, then I think that will
all right. Let me bring Devon Mitchell in and give him the last one. Devon Mitchell, you've heard from Donovan White, you've heard from the JHTA president. Are you convinced that we'll get to the 60 cents on the dollar and get more of the grassroots people involved? And you felt left out for a number of years.
I think that the question that you have asked has been very, very fundamental. But I think I am still waiting maybe on the answer decisively to find out whose job it is. Because, I mean, that is very much imperative. You understand? I mean, for us to find out definitively whose job it is, I mean, to grow it, I mean, from where it's at right now, the 40%, I mean, to the 60%, right? And as I said before, grow the people, grow the grassroots people. And I think within myself that the problem that we have within the country, it will take care of. Don't ignore the grassroots people.
We are entirely out of time. We have to leave it there for this evening's edition of Lead Story Prime. We had in the studio with us Director of Tourism at the Jamaica Tourist Board, Donovan White, and online President of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, the JHT, Chris Jarrett, as well as President of the Alliance Craft Traders and Producers Association, Devon Mitchell. That's all we have time for in today's edition of Lead Story Prime. I'm Tyron Reed saying good evening.
Delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yes.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winford Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.